Well, hello there my dear friends, and welcome back to the Scott Ree Project. Now today we are going to be making a game roulade. Now I've been working on this. I've already made one. It came out absolutely superb, and what we're going to use is a piece of loin of venison. This is roe deer, absolutely beautiful. And then I'm going to take the loins off this saddle of rabbit, and what we're going to do is we are going to fuse them together using, you know it, the meat glue. Then we're going to roll it up in a beautiful blanket of prosciutto. We're going to cook it really slowly. I'm going to use my water bath. If you haven't got a water bath, by all means get a saucepan of water up to 60 degrees and then just follow with the recipe. But what you're left with, because the way we're going to fit these together, is an absolutely beautiful looking thing. It looks a bit like a meaty protein, I suppose, style Battenberg cake. So all I'm doing then is I've took that straight off the loin. What I need to do then is get the silver skin off. So I'm just going to, in one end, just like skinning a fish, just let the knife rock gently backwards and forwards, and you're left with a beautiful nugget of meat. Now this doesn't look a lot, but when you put it all together and you've wrapped it and shaped it, it's a fairly decent sized portion. So there we are, our rabbit. I'm just going to square the ends off. No waste, they can go into your game sausage, game pies, game mince. You want pretty much uniformed pieces of rabbit, and then we want to match those pieces of rabbit with loin of venison, so we're not far off there. Now what I'm going to do, I want to square these off, so down one side, down the other. Again, this will not go to waste. Sausages, mince, burgers, you name it. Then what we need to do is just roughly make, let's put it that way for you, a rough version so you can see of what we are going to be doing. So basically that is what we're looking at. Now I'm going to just shorten these pieces of venison again. Obviously, you haven't got to go to all this trouble, but me being me, you know what I'm like. It has to be perfect. Yes, I have got to get out more. I know. So, I think that is going to do the trick. Okay then, on to fusing these beautiful pieces of great British wild game together. Again, I'm going to be using the not so attractively named meat glue or transglutaminase. Now, I'm really happy with you guys and girls out there. You know, you have really been great with me using this. I get the odd comment now and again saying, you know, is it safe to use? Well, believe me, I wouldn't be using it if it wasn't. And yes, there are nefarious stories out there of people taking lumps of meat, as I've said before, gluing them together, say pieces of steak, gluing them into a cylinder and passing it off as fillet or tenderloin, which, yeah, is wrong. But for something like this, I think it's absolutely brilliant. And as I've said many times, the possibilities for creative butchery are absolutely brilliant. Right then, next in my meat glue thing, my vintage flour shaker, I'm just going to dust my tray, and then total coverage, my venison, every single part. And when you really look at the amount we're using, it's really not that much, you know, completely tasteless. Fantastic. So I shall just give these last couple a dusting. So they are nicely covered, as you can see. Next, I want to get some cling film out and start laying down my prosciutto. Tell you what, beautiful stuff this, but it's so thin. It's thinner than a supermodel's wrist. Right, there's our prosciutto, Parma, whatever ham you want to use. Give it a dust with the magique powder, alchemy, witchcraft. Give it a old brush over. Remember, this is completely tasteless. Next, we've got our venison and our rabbit. So, one venison loin, just taking up any more bits. Then our rabbit. Try and get a nice shape. So match them up, thick, thin ends. Of course, alternate then. Venison on there. And when I did this as a test run and I posted it on Facebook, people went mad. They thought it looked absolutely superb. So we've got our venison and our rabbit. I'm just going to start this off by what I'll do, just to be safe, and then just gently fettle it till we've got a join, just like that. I'm going to cut that off, pick that up a moment, stretch our cling film back out, and then I'm going to start putting some pressure on and start into a circle, believe it or not. So, plenty of cling film, get the air out, always manipulating the shape, and then we'll go one way and the other way, and this is where we get that beautiful sausage shape. And if we get a bit of air in, we just let it out with a couple of air holes. Get it nice and tight. I'll just get some string and I will tie those ends off. What a beautiful package. That's what they all say. This is by far, like I've said before, one of the best bit of kits I have ever bought. It's getting to the point where, how did I ever live without it? Sad, I know. I got this from Cool Game. I will definitely put the link down in the comments. Speak to Andrew, a great guy. He will sort you out. Fantastic bit of kit. And does the job absolutely perfectly. I want a nice tight seal, so that sealing, release, and there you have it, all ready to cook. Now I understand that not everybody's got all this kit. You haven't got a vacuum sealer, but I tell you what, you won't regret it if you buy one. And this is not a plug, trust me, you know, I've bought this, but I just think it's brilliant for stuff like this. So where was I? Yeah, if you haven't got a vacuum sealer, by all means, a double layer of cling film. So we've got to that stage, wrap it again, If not, a Ziploc bag if you can get the air out. Or you can actually buy those pump kits where you buy like a Ziploc bag and you get a two-way pump and it will take the air out. A very cheap way to do it. So I'm going to cook this in my sous vide machine, my water bath. Again, if you haven't got one of those, just bring a pan of water up to between 60 and 65 degrees because I'm going to cook this at about 63. Just let it tick over, keep a thermometer in it and just keep it within that range and you'll be fine. So into my water bath, 63 degrees C for about 45 minutes to an hour. And then this will be transformed into something spectacular. Trust me. So while we're waiting for that roulade to slowly cook, we are going to knock up a lovely little sauce. So I've got my saucepan on the heat. I'm going to add some butter. As you can see, the ingredients around me, I have got one red onion, finely diced. I have got about 150 grams of beetroot. This is cooked beetroot. Save yourself some time. 150 grams of beetroot. Diced, not too fine because we want to be able to sit our finished roulade on it. I have got some dried thyme. I've got some salt and pepper at the back, some cider vinegar, some creme de cassis, so I'm just going to add a bit at the end maybe, red currant jelly and 150 ml of the chicken stock. I've got 300 in there. I'm just going to see how we go. It's going to be one of those, reduce it down, add a bit, and you know, we want a nice thick consistency. So in my pan then, I'm just going to melt that butter off. So my butter is nicely melted, so I'm going to put in my onions. Just letting those cook out for a couple of minutes, just so they go slightly soft. Onions are softening up nicely, so in with my beetroot. Now this seems like a mad combination, but I did a beetroot and mackerel dish, I think a couple of years back. And it's got cider vinegar in again, and it really cuts through that richness at the time of the mackerel, and the same here with the venison. I'm just going to add, I don't know, what's that, a teaspoon or a good pinch of dried thyme. Now the beauty of this already being cooked, the beetroot, is we're just warming it through. I'm going to put in, I suppose, a tablespoon of red currant jelly and get that in the mix. So the cider vinegar, I'm going to say, so about a tablespoon. I mean, I don't measure it, as you can see, of that lovely cider vinegar. Oh, smell. Look at the colours in that. So I've got that at full pelt then. I'm just going to let that reduce down a little. Cook it out, and then I'm going to slowly add my chicken stock. Again, let it get to know each other. Full heat, let it reduce, so it's quite thick. That is amazing as it is. I mean, I like sharp things. I like knives, but the chicken stock will mellow that out, but I actually like that as it is. So as you can see, it's got a bit thick. I'm going to use about 150 ml of chicken stock, and again, same principle, reduce that down till it's nice and thick. Then we will season it up. Always season it up after when you're reducing. Obviously, if you were to put your seasoning in now and take it down, reduce it, thicken it, it will just get more intense, more salty, more peppery. Is that a word, peppery? Yeah. So, my roulade has been in for 45 minutes I did it at 64.9. So I'm just checking the internal temperature. I'm looking for 55 to 60. Can you see there? That is 60.5. So absolutely perfecto. So just let that continue to thicken while we'll release this beautiful thing. Beautiful how it's glued that together. You know, you cannot see a seam there, can you? You know? Perfect. So I'm going to dry that off and I'm going to fry it off in just a little bit of butter, a little bit of oil, just to give it a nice colour, because we've got our temperature inside between 55 and 60. Should be nice, perfect, tender, juicy. We want to add a bit of colour, bit of texture by crisping up this beautiful prosciutto, Parma, whatever you want to use, my friends. Right, I'm going to move it on to another ring. So as you can see, it's getting thicker by the minute. I want to take that down, so pretty much it's just a couple of drops of liquid. Let's just taste it now. Oh yeah. So butter in the pan, bit of oil to stop it burning. So in with that beautiful roulade. Just taking our time, sealing, caramelizing, browning off the whole cylinder. I'm just going to add a spot of creme de cassis. Now I know we've got red currant jelly in. I think a bit of black currant won't hurt. Just a dash. Distribute. I mean, that's quite raw at the moment. Oh, taste and taste again. Is this not real cooking or what? Beautiful colour coming on that ham, bacon, whatever you want to use. Try and make this come together at the same time. Sauce is nice and thick. Bit of salt, bit of pepper. You can see how beautiful that's gone. Always taste. Perfect. Browning off nicely. So what I'll do then is I'll take that off the heat, put it onto my board and lightly tent that with some foil and rest it, and just let this sauce thicken just slightly. Okay then, so we've rested that beautiful rabbit and venison roulade. Now it's time to plate it up. First of all, we need to cut into it. Now you never entirely know how these are going to go until you do it. So let's just have a look. Have a look at that. Cooked to perfection. You can see the juice dripping off it. Absolutely fantastic. So I think I'll cut 4 rounds. Looking beautiful. Put them there. Then I've got the sauce I made with those beetroots, the red onion. Put my plate down there. So I've reduced the cider vinegar and the chicken stock with the beetroot and the red onion. So I'm just going to put some on the plate and then just rest the roulade on the top. And there you have British game at its very, very best. My venison and rabbit roulade. Not bad at all. It's absolutely stunning. As you can see, the venison is cooked to perfection. Still nice and pink. Look at the juice running there. I mean, just look at that. Okay, rabbit, venison, my God. Right. Oh man. Always up in the game. You get some nice mashed potato or a celeriac puree or just some nice seasonal greens. Sauce works so well. Cuts through the richness. It's fruity. It's nice and thick. Nice texture with the onions and the beetroot. You know, using seasonal veg. This is what it's all about. This is seasonal wild game. Well, it's safe to say another triumph for the SRP. Venison and rabbit. I mean, you can hardly see the join. That's the beauty of this. There is no join. But the whole dish is stunning. I've got to stop this. Okay, Scott, get a grip. If you've liked what you've seen here today, please click that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on more fantastic dishes like this and the butchery coming up. I release a video every week, so join the revolution. Join the movement by clicking that red button. Also on my social media, my Facebook, TheScottReaProject, and on my Twitter, @TheScottReaProject. So until next time, please give this a go. I know I say it all the time, but you know, we're up in our game. The movement's growing. It's absolutely stunning. And I'm going to have one more mouthful, and then I'm going to go and spend some time on my own in a dark room. So until next time, take care, my dear friends. All the best.